I therefore charge you, Professor Amokwitio, as you take on this important assignment to protect the integrity of our elections.
I was given a clear charge to ensure credible, fair and free election.
Protect integrity of electoral processes. President Tinubu charges new INEC chairman.
In the last 2 years, what we've seen is there's an effort to build another national consensus on development of this country.
Nigeria forges new health alliance as federal government, states, media leaders unite to boost national health outcomes.
Some of the funds that we recovered also went to AMCON, Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, NDDC, Niger Delta Development Commission.
EFCC announces 566 billion naira recovery, 1,500 properties in 2-year sweep. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jumma Yusuf. Tonight we're bringing you some of the latest news from across the country. And in our studio here we have Benny Adams on standby for business news, and Francesca Bele will be bringing us some exciting news in the world of sports. Remember, you can watch the live stream of this newscast on our various handles on social media. You can also catch a playback of this broadcast on our YouTube channel and other social media platforms displayed on the screen. Now to our survey for the day. The integrity of our electoral process is once again at the forefront of national discourse, and we want to know what you think. The 10th National Assembly is proposing some amendments to the 2022 Electoral Act. But our focus tonight is the planned provision for mandatory electronic transmission of election results. We want to know if you think this provision is the essential, non-negotiable key to credible elections that we have been waiting for. And better still, is it a pragmatic step forward, but perhaps not a complete solution to all our electoral challenges? Or is it a hazardous and problematic venture that could jeopardize the entire voting process? Well, where do you stand? Share your opinion with us by participating in today's online survey, and we will be sharing the verdict later tonight. Still on electoral matters, President Bola Tinubu has enjoined the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Ojo Amupitan, to protect and improve on the integrity of the electoral processes in Nigeria in the interest of democracy. President Tinubu gave the charge at the inauguration of the new INEC chairman at the State House. State House correspondent Musbah Dan Wahab reports that the ceremony preceded the National Economic Council meeting, which held today.
And that I will devote myself to the service and well-being of the people of Nigeria. So help me God.
Final confirmation following the approval of the National Council of States and subsequent screening and confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. And it becomes even more tantalizing with the presence of the state governors. Professor Joash Ojo Amupitan takes up new big shoes as a major player and determinant in sustaining the growth of a 25-year-old Nigerian democracy. But then, President Bola Tinubu believes the new helmsman is equal to the task of steering the democratic ship in the right direction.
Your nomination for the important role and the subsequent confirmation by the Senate is a testament to your capacity and the confidence reposed in you by both the executive and the legislative arm of government. The significant achievement marks the beginning of a challenging yet rewarding journey, and I trust that you will approach your responsibilities with the highest level of integrity, dedication, and patriotism.
With various efforts and reforms along the way to protect the return of democracy in Nigeria, President Tinubu says major players, with INEC in the lead, must remain committed to the principles that underpin democracy in a complex, multifaceted society like Nigeria.
I therefore charge you, Professor Amokwito, as you take on this important assignment to protect the integrity of our elections and electoral process and strengthen the institutional capacity of INEC.
58-year-old professor of law and senior advocate of Nigeria commits himself to free, fair and credible elections under his watch.
I was given a clear charge to ensure credible, fair and free election. Not just that I will ensure that that is done, I'm also going to engage all the stakeholders, because no matter how you set the barometer and the level of success, you still need all the stakeholders to be able to succeed.
From the new chairman's background, Amokwito means an instrument of history. So, the son of a late judge and a headmistress from Ijumu, local government area of Kogi State, has the next 5 years, all things being equal, to make history in the political landscape of a country. And that begins with the Anambra governorship election next month. From the State House, Musbau Wahab, NTA News.
In the meantime, Chairman of INEC, Professor Joash Amipitan, admits he has a great role to play in the emergence of democratically mature Nigeria. The INEC boss made a commitment to actively play this role while addressing staff of the commission as he assumes office today. Mayor Ogidi reports.
An ambience that announces the arrival of a new era in INEC, the journey of Ojo. An excitedly expectant staff of INEC gave their new boss a befitting atmosphere. The new man, flanked by his wife, who is also a professor and lawyer, children, delegation from the University of Jos, here at the INEC conference hall. First day in office, yes, with glasses set in the standard of a professor. Joash waited.
Welcome, Mr. Chairman.
May Agbamuchi Ombo, the acting chairman of INEC, on the agenda for the next assignment.
The task ahead, no doubt, is enormous. Elections are the lifeblood of democracy, and the expectations of Nigerians have never been higher. However, you are not walking to an empty field. You're stepping onto the firm and fertile ground laid by your predecessor, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. So these are the handover notes that Professor Mahmoud Yakubu gave to you.
Let them not think you are handing over money.
It's been 2 weeks of questions and answer session for the new INEC boss. On his agenda, here, the professor promises again, midwifing elections where losers will congratulate winners is the mandate.
Our mandate is clear, and what is it? To deliver free, fair and credible elections that reflect the will of Nigerian people. To achieve this, we must work together as a team.
This is promise can be substantiated either in the positive or negative after the November 8th governorship elections in Anambra State. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
And in other news, the National Economic Council has approved President Bola Tinubu's proposal for the total overhaul of security training institutions in the country. The council also deliberated on the Renewed Hope World Development Programme and the Sustainable Agricultural Platform Model, among other key issues of national interest. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This is the 153rd meeting of the National Economic Council, attended by President Bola Tinubu and presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima, raising concern on the state of the nation's security training institutions. Enugu State Governor Peter Umba is to chair the committee, while former Inspector General for Police Usman Alkali Baba will serve as secretary with 1 month to report back to the council.
Mr. President raised serious concern about the condition generally of all the training institutions of the Nigerian police across the country. And of course, all the governors at the meeting agree that it is high time for all of us to collaborate with the federal government to address this very crisis. The NEC also looked at other sister agencies, and the committee was also saddled with responsibility to look at other sister agencies and look at their own training institutions and come up with a report on how we can be able to revamp, renovate them, and also equip them where necessary.
The Council also received a memo of the $1 trillion economy by 2030 renewed Hope World Development Program to strengthen macroeconomic reforms and take measures on the renewed Hope infrastructure funds.
To take development to the 8,809 wards of the country, which entails a mapping of the economic activities and identification of opportunities unique to each ward, as well as registering at least 1,000 economically active persons in each ward.
The Ad Hoc Committee on Crude Oil Theft and Management also presented a report updating the Council on the successes recorded, expanding the committee's work.
NEC received our report with satisfaction, and they expanded our terms of reference to now also taking interest in solid minerals, because our solid minerals are being mined and stolen and not adding to national revenue.
NEC receives a report on sustainable agricultural platform model of Katsina State and urge other subnationals to follow suit and deploy technology to address challenges in agriculture and food security.
So directed the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to establish pilot schemes on agriculture where to capture data as well as control centers in 6 geopolitical zones by 2026.
Epidemiological data shows a continuous progress with the circulating variant of the polio virus.
The Council also received update from the Ad Hoc Committee on Polio Eradication and also the approval of the upcoming Zuma International Festival and other approvals of art, culture and tourism and creative economy, as well as update on the Federation account. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Now, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Roads Management Agency, Senator Sahabi Ya'u, has urged board and management of FEMA to think outside the box in tackling the challenge of roads maintenance across the country. This was at the screening of the presidential appointee, Dr. Musa Yahya, as chairman of the board of FEMA. The committee says Nigerians expect improved service delivery on all projects, as federal government has shown commitment in that regard.
Our roads all over the country are in very, very deplorable condition, and they need immediate attention to maintain. The average lifespan of any asphalted road is 25 years. A lot of them have failed.
During our oversight functions, I would like to take you on what you're going to tell us today.
We shall employ the use of innovation, technology, sustainable funding, and sustainable collaboration with critical stakeholders, like I mentioned earlier, within the Nigerian Federation.
Still from the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has expressed displeasure over the arbitrary increase of house rent and undue exploitation of tenants by property owners in parts of the country. The House is urging the federal and state governments to step up into the situation with regulations to ease the burden on citizens. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ipen reports.
Out there on the streets, citizens who are struggling to make ends meet are not smiling over arbitrary rent increase by property owners.
It's so high. You can't imagine somebody taking one self-contained for 500,000. It's so alarming. It's so much.
You just wake up one day without informing you and just increase his house rent. And the excuse is always the cost of building.
The landlord and the agent don't consider the income of the tenant
to define the amount of rent they will give.
In Rivers State, where I reside, house rent increases on a monthly basis.
The issue finds expression on the floor of the House of Representatives, with Basi Akiba from Cross River State highlighting the alarming situation in the nation's capital.
A situation where rent is moved from 800,000 to 2.5 million is not tenable. I'm not saying that, there shouldn't be any rent increase. I am saying that there should be a balance between, the tenant rights and, of course, the land or the landlord rights.
This motion is referred to the Committee on Housing and Habitat.
Lawmakers are also seeking redress for communities in Ukana-Fun local government area of Akwa Ibom State that have suffered decades of environmental degradation from crude oil exploration.
Urge the federal government to direct the Ministry of Environment, National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency (NOSDRA) and Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to urgently investigate, clean up and remediate the affected areas.
Among legislations that scaled second reading was a bill seeking to amend the EFCC Act of 2004.
There are also gaps, Mr. Speaker, in governance structure, weak coordination with other anti-corrupt bodies, and lack of clear procedures for managing seized and forfeited assets.
The bill has been referred to the House Committee on Financial Crimes for further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikwen, NTA News.
We pause for a break. There's more when we return. Don't go away. Thanks for rejoining us. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has inaugurated 10 Renewed Hope Initiative and National Information Technology Development Agency digital learning centers across 10 states of the Federation. At a virtual inauguration ceremony held in her office, she notes with optimism that sustained advancement of digital literacy is driving inclusive growth in the country. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
To the glory of God, I hereby officially commission and hand over 10 NIDA RHL digital learning centers in Umuahia, Abia.
In one fell swoop, 10 digital learning centers come on stream in Abia, Delta, Edo, Kano, Katsina, Lagos, Nasarawa, Ondo, Yobe, and Zamfara states, expanding the frontiers of youth empowerment and digital inclusion in the country. The virtual inauguration of the centers by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu marks another giant stride in the effort of Renewed Hope Initiative in partnership with the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, to deepen the adoption and utilization of digital tools by youths across the country.
Today's commissioning presents another opportunity under the mandate of the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy to further expand digital access across the country. By providing communities with the resources required to develop ICT skills, thereby empowering our people to participate meaningfully in the digital economy, to accelerate economic diversification through industrialization and digitalization. I urge the members of the various beneficiary communities, especially our youth, to make good use of these facilities to enhance learning, creativity, and entrepreneurship, thereby improving livelihood and contributing to national development.
Apart from the 296 centers already established under this administration, 15 in collaboration with RHI, NITDA is also working to build additional 148 digital infrastructure in other parts of the country and a total of 592 centers by 2027.
This will empower our citizens all over the country to have access to digital infrastructure and services. It signifies an unlocking potential as well as putting our nation on a right track to drive inclusivity for our citizens.
Wives of state governors of benefiting states were in attendance at their respective locations for the virtual inauguration. In the State House, Adeni Itewo, NTA News.
There are more reports on the Renewed Hope Initiative and National Information Technology Development Agency Digital Learning Centers. We'll bring you that report in the course of the bulletin. Now to health matters. A high-level health media dialogue involving representatives of the federal and state governments is partnering media executives from across Nigeria to call for stronger collaboration and sustained advocacy for improved health outcomes. Now, key stakeholders in the national health sector are leveraging the platform to discuss practical strategies for improving health coverage, financing and accountability in line with both national priorities and global health targets. Oluseyi Adebo tells us more.
Advocacy engagements themed strengthening primary health care, a collaborative approach to reducing maternal mortality and enhancing child health in Nigeria featured insightful contributions from health leaders.
In the last 2 years, what we've seen is there's an effort to build another national consensus on development of this country. And that has informed some of the hard decisions that were made, which are not easy. So building that national consensus around development is key.
Over the past 2 years, CONESET has embarked on an ambitious, comprehensive reform program spanning all 23 local government areas.
Panel discussions focused on identifying barriers, proposing solutions, and exploring opportunities for media-driven advocacy.
The International Society of Media and Public Health will recognize the power of journalism to reframe the narrative from despair to hope.
We have agreed, I think, that the health sector and the media are partners. For the NTA, we have been an enduring partner in the health sector in boosting the whole gamut of the health sector, what it has been doing from identifying the problems to providing solutions.
Participants agreed to the dialogue resolutions, reaffirming their commitment to deepen collaboration and drive measurable actions toward improving primary health care across Nigeria. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adebo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, all health regulatory bodies are to migrate to digital platforms. This is coming from the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isaac Salako, as he unveils the automated National Standing Order of Practice for Community Health Practitioners in Abuja. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
Nigeria's adoption of digital governance is revolutionizing service delivery. In the health sector, for example, one can sit behind a keyboard or with a mobile device to book a doctor's appointment or consult with a caregiver. Latest to join the trend is the Community Health Practitioners Registration Board of Nigeria. Community health practitioners can now refer to their operational guidelines, apply or renew their license via a digital platform, a bridge between policy and practice.
The National Standing Order remains one of Nigeria's most strategic health policy instruments, a legal and professional framework that empowers community health practitioners to provide standardized, safe, and effective clinical intervention at the grassroots level.
The mobile app will not only enhance clinical decision-making for PSC workers, but also support effective, timely, best implementation in terms of patient treatment and guidance.
What we are calling out and what we are going to do is to increase budgetary provision for all these institutes and then increase also oversight, and that we are doing.
Other health agencies are expected to follow suit for effective service delivery. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
On internal security, the Nigeria Police Force has confirmed the arrest of Omoyole Sowore, stating that the action was taken in the interest of justice. The police say Sowore will be arraigned within 24 hours, as was the case of the 13 other suspects apprehended during Monday's protest in Abuja and earlier arraigned. Francis Form reports.
And you would ask, why was he arrested? It is very simple.
The 13 people that were arrested previously all gave their statements, and there is a constant in all of their statements. Every one of them mentioned that one Omoyele Sowore led them into the restricted area in contravention of the court order. So it will be most unfair to charge some people to court and leave the person that led them to commit that. Proud to present to you.
Meanwhile, the force also highlighted recent achievements recorded in its sustained onslaught against crime and criminality across the country. According to the Force Public Relations Officer, Benjamin Hundeyin, operatives of the Force Intelligence Response Team, acting on the IGP's directive to reduce crime to the barest, have arrested a suspected arms supplier to bandits. Efforts, he said, are ongoing to apprehend his accomplices still at large.
So we are proud to say that we have caught the supply chain of bandits with this arrest to some extent.
Hundeyin further disclosed that ongoing strategic operations have continued to yield significant results, including the arrest of notorious suspects, recovery of arms and ammunition, and the dismantling of major criminal networks. Francis Form, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has announced that it recovered more than 566.3 billion naira illicit funds and more than 1,500 properties acquired through fraudulent means in the last 2 years. These revelations were made at a media briefing commemorating the Commission's chairman's second-year anniversary in office. Tope Alabi has the report.
It has been 2 years since October 2023 when Ola Olukoyede assumed office as EFCC boss, and for him, the Commission's anti-graft fight has witnessed unprecedented success. The EFCC chair, who spoke through the Commission's Director of Public Affairs, Wilson Uwujaren, said in the last 2 years, more than 19,000 petitions were received as the Commission conducted 29,240 investigations, filed 10,525 cases and secured 7,503 convictions.
We also have a number of ministers that are currently under prosecution. You have Olu Akinloye, former Minister of Power, Maman Saleh, former Minister of Power, Hadi Sirika, former Minister of Aviation, and Charles Kuku, former Minister of Industries. Then all of us are aware of the current prosecution of the former governor of the Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele.
The Commission also announced the recovery of 1,502 non-monetary assets comprising 402 properties in 2023, 975 in 2024, and 125 so far in 2025. Several government agencies have also benefited from returned funds, with a 100 billion naira investment in students' loan and consumer credit scheme.
It is very important for us to see this fight against economic and financial not as an EFCC fight, but it's a fight for all Nigerians.
While EFCC prioritizes fraud prevention and asset recoveries, more of its strategic and rebranding plans are expected to shape Olukoyede's remaining years in office. From the EFCC headquarters in Abuja, Tokpe Alabi, NTA News.
Now, reports say the UK Supreme Court has unanimously upheld a decision to award legal costs in sterling to Nigeria with its dispute with Process and Industrial Developments Limited, PNID. The case arose from Nigeria's successful challenge to 2 arbitration awards totaling $6.6 billion plus interest granted to PNID in 2015 and 2017 for a bridged gas facility contract, which Nigeria proved were obtained by fraud. Nigeria incurred £44.127 million in legal costs during an 8-week trial in the commercial court, which PNID was ordered to pay. PNID argued courts should be in Naira, Nigeria's currency, claiming Nigeria converted Naira to sterling to pay its English solicitors, and a sterling award would create a windfall due to alleged Naira's depreciation. The Commercial Court and Court of Appeal ruled for sterling as Nigeria was billed and paid in that currency. The Supreme Court agreed, stating court orders are discretionary and compensatory like damages, and courts do not typically probe how litigants fund legal fees to avoid complex disputes. The court ruled that awarding costs in the billing currency ensures legal certainty unless the currency choice is abusive, which was not the case here. The UK Apex Court dismissed PNID's windfall claim. And the countdown to the Nigeria Broadcasting Award is on with anticipation on the next set of awardees who have excelled in the profession. Ayodeji Makinde reports that the chairman Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, and other members are set to raise the standards higher than the 2023 edition.
From the screens to the airwaves, the creative minds and technical experts behind the scenes are set to be recognized for their outstanding contributions to broadcast excellence in the country. Chairman of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria and Director General of the NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, joined members of the steering committee to reaffirm the organization's commitment to transparency in the selection process. A 7-member panel of judges chaired by Danladi Bako, former Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, will oversee the evaluation. With 204 entries received from the 2024 broadcast year, Nigerians can expect the very best talents to be honored across categories, including news reporting, presentation and documentary production, both in English and indigenous languages.
The Nigerian Broadcasting Award is not just an event. It is a statement of our collective resolve to uphold the highest standards of professionalism in broadcasting. It is a celebration of those who inform, educate, and entertain Nigerians with passion and integrity.
There is no doubt that whatever is done well should be celebrated and should be acknowledged, as this is likely to motivate a lot of other people to put in a greater effort into whatever they do.
Let the countdown begin. D-Day is Tuesday, December 4, 2025, the day when the well-deserved handshakes and accolades will go to this year's winners, who will in turn smile for the cameras. For now, organizers and industry leaders are back to work, preparing to host over 2,000 guests and an estimated 100 million viewers. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Now let's go back to the story on the First Lady of Nigeria simultaneously inaugurating digital learning centers across different states in the country. Wife of Katsina State Governor Zulaihat Dikko Rada performed the inauguration ceremony on behalf of the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu at Shiakawa Model Primary School, Matazo local government area of Katsina State. The initiative was replicated in Abia State, which is among selected states aimed at empowering young students with modern technological skills. Similarly, in Damaturu, Yobe State, the Digital Learning Center was also inaugurated at the Shehu Sule College of Nursing and Midwifery.
Aim to promote digital learning, especially among the youth and women of this community.
We express our sincere gratitude to Her Excellency, the First Lady of Nigeria and Chairman of the Renewed Hope Initiative, for this extraordinary investment in Abia State. This collaboration is a testament to your commitment to the growth and development of our nation.
Initiative for their partnership in bridging the technology gap and strengthening educational opportunities for young Nigerians.
This demonstrates your love, passion, and concern for women, children, and vulnerable persons in your business. The
facilities were constructed by the National Information Technology Development Agency in collaboration with the Renewed Hope Initiative as part of efforts to promote digital learning and inclusion by empowering the women and youth across the country. We'll take another break. We'll be right back. Back now, for 2 decades, microfinance banks in Nigeria have continued to advance inclusion and grassroots banking. Yet, macroeconomic instability and some recent financial policies remain threats to the operations of these institutions. These were views of operators at the Microfinance at 20 conference holding in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. Clement Barikio has details.
It is 20 years since microfinance banks began operation in Nigeria, and these industry players are appraising the past while projecting the future. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Olayemi Cardoso, in a message to the conference, is urging operators of microfinance banks to innovate and strengthen governance structure for the overall benefit of Nigerians.
Through the collective efforts of our microfinance banks, millions of Nigerians have been empowered with credits, savings, and other financial services that improve livelihoods and stimulate local economies.
Microfinance banks have helped governments to achieve financial inclusion by extending the financial services to the unserved and economically active poor.
Going down memory lane, President, National Association of Microfinance Banks, Abubakar Ahmad, says it has been 20 years of vision, transformation and resilience, promising that the next 20 years present a more impactful microfinance banking experience for Nigerians. With 817 microfinance banks spread across more than 2,000 branches in the country, assets of 3.45 trillion naira, out of which 2.7 trillion naira is in the agricultural sector, Ahmad notes that microfinance banks are perfectly placed to help push federal government's economic support programs for Nigerians.
We can compete shoulder to shoulder with any commercial bank. So in that regard, yes, we have challenges, but yes, we are thinking ahead to see how we go about the challenges. And yes, we are determined to succeed. And yes, by the grace of God, we are succeeding and we will succeed.
The three-day conference had in attendance representatives from across various sectors and regulators of microfinance banks. Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umoina, was honored as microfinance pillar during the conference. Clement Barikui, NTA News.
And for more news in the financial sector, let's join Benny Adams. Benny.
Thank you, Jumai. And talking business, something that affects Nigeria directly or indirectly is about the U.S. President Donald Trump, who says he expects to reach agreement with Chinese President Xi Jinping when they meet in South Korea next week. That could range from resumed soybean purchases by Beijing to limits on nuclear weapons. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office that he plans to discuss China's purchases of Russian oil and how to stop Russia's war in Ukraine, now in its third year.
Now, like this, I'm not sure that he did at the beginning. He would now like to see that war end.
On to the markets away from Asia, now to Nigeria. It's been a sea of green from Nigeria to South Africa and Tunisia. This is as investors in Nigeria's equities market gained 478 billion naira, with the all share index experiencing an upward movement of 0.49%. As we can see, the numbers there driven by buying interest in key sectors of industrial goods, oil and gas, banking and consumer goods indices generally closed positive, while the low ones were around insurance that closed negatively. South Africa JSE Top 40 index is green from an earlier mixed performance as some heavyweights experienced upward pressure while others faced selling, and stocks to look out for Sasol Limited, Impasa Platinum Holdings, as well as Naspers, among others. That is in South Africa. For the Tunisia Tune Index market, which is in Tunisia, it is relatively stable and slightly positive at the end of trade, with trends in financial sector stocks, particularly banks, remain highly active in volume as well as a price movement. That is it on business at this time. Jumai, I'm done doing business with you.
Thank you. And more on electoral matters, political watchers in Anambra State are suing for concerted efforts to ensure a smooth, free and fair and credible governorship election in the state come November 8th this year. Steve Lonia Waukolo reports.
Into the level of preparations on the forthcoming Anambra State governorship election.
Chairman Onitsha North Local Government Area, Anthony Nwora, expresses optimism that the election will be a peaceful one.
We will go to the polls, we will vote, and the vote will be counted. Onitsha is secured, and I know that the election will be free and fair.
Similarly, a political watcher, Teres Okuseogwu, sues for a level playing field and campaigns that are devoid of mudslinging.
Anambra is a peaceful state politically, and we are looking forward that it will be that same way.
It is the expectation of these respondents that the forthcoming Anambra state governorship election will be peaceful and credible. In Onitsha, Steve Lonai Nwaokolo, NTA News.
It's off-circle election season, with concerned citizens, associations and groups like the APC Stakeholders Forum anticipating a positive impact on Nigeria from the elected. The forum's visit to the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on a threefold mission concludes with an important call to action from both parties. Naja'atu Tijani reports.
Elder statesmen who have served in various capacities bringing a wealth of knowledge to the Nigerian Television Authority. Their visit coincides with the swearing-in of a new INEC chairman, which is a perfect opportunity to promote national values, says the Director General, NTA.
Regardless of which political party you belong to, after the elections, all hands must have to be on deck, because our single and most important aim is for the country to survive and also to advance.
Led by the national chairman, former military administrator of Borno State, the forum's intention is threefold.
To appreciate the effort NTA is doing in enlightening the public, educating them and sensitizing the public. As we are going to hold a summit in Northwest Zone, which we plan to do in all other zones of the Federation. And that's with a view to highlight the activities of government, the achievement, and maybe the challenges.
The APC Stakeholders Forum urges all hands to be on deck for a smooth sail towards the grand election come 2027. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
There will be more news after the break. You're watching NTA Network News, and Francisca is standing by with Sports Update. Francisca.
Hello, Jumai. Welcome to Sports Update. As aspirations heightened for the concluding round of elections into the boards of various national sports federations, aspirants on Thursday formally presented their manifestos before the Electoral Committee at the Media Center of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja ahead of Saturday's elections. From tennis to handball, shooting to boxing, wrestling to taekwondo and many more, the aspirants from different sports backgrounds outlined strategic plans from grassroots talent discovery to enhanced funding and athletes' welfare, all anchored on the goal of repositioning Nigerian sports for better global recognition.
This is a novel development introduced by the National Sports Commission leadership to change the landscape of federation business in Nigeria. It's never been done before.
This has been a very, very peaceful build-up. And this is an opportunity for all the candidates to come and touch base with the Sports Commission, with the committee, and with Nigerians generally.
It is expected that anybody that wants to contest or occupy any elective position must be able to convince the people why he wants to do that. And this is a good development, and I hope it will be sustained.
Elsewhere, Governor Hyacinth Alia has disclosed that board and management of Lobby Stars FC Makurdi to enhance the club's efficiency, accountability and performance, he directed the outgoing officials to hand over all documents and assets to the Commissioner for Youth, Sports and Creativity. The governor thanked the former management for their service and promised that a new leadership structure will soon be announced to advance the club's growth and competitiveness. Away from Nigeria, Thursday's Europa League matches have been nothing short of drama. Surprises as Braga beat Vezda 2-0, while Brann stunned Rangers 3-0 in one of the night's biggest shocks. Bologna edged FCSB 2-1 and Fenerbahce claimed a narrow 1-0 victory at home. There was another upset as Go Ahead Eagles defeated Aston Villa 2-1, while Hyang and Real Betis shared the goalless draw. Lyon looked more confident with a 2-0 win over Ferencváros, and Athletic Club edged Salzburg 3-2 in a thrilling contest. 10 more matches are about being concluded now. But that's it on Sports 8. Back to Jumai.
Thank you, Francisca. And now to our survey results. We asked, what do you think of the mandatory electronic transmission of election results as being proposed by the 10th National Assembly? 76.2% of respondents selected the option which tagged electronic transmission of results as essential and crucial for credible elections. Another 18.5% of respondents selected the option which says it is a pragmatic improvement but not a panacea. And finally, 5.3% of Nigerians who participated in tonight's survey chose the option which indicates that electronic transmission of election results would be hazardous and problematic. And with our survey, we round up Network News for tonight. Thanks so much for your time. On behalf of the crew, I am Jumma Yusuf. Thanks for watching.